Design thinking is very important to us, and it's a creative process that kids go through to find solutions for complex problems through various iterations and looking at it from different angles and really analyzing it deeply and understanding the user group with empathy. And the process of design thinking, we believe, helps our students fail, rise up, try new things, explore themselves, understand what's happening around the world, and we really want to expose our students to skills like this, and that's why design thinking has played such an important part of Ekya JP Nagar's year this year. This year, Ekya JP Nagar students are addressing the challenge of the elderly. They're trying to understand and how they may integrate Bangalore's elderly into society. It allows them to really immerse themselves in something that is socially relevant, to understand a group that they might not have thought about before in the same structures and frameworks that they're looking at them right now. And by using a human-centered process, putting our user group, the elderly, at the very heart of what we're doing, our kids, we hope, are able to empathize and stand in somebody else's shoes and be able to think of the world from somebody else's point of view and have their own point of view for how the world should be moving forward. And through this year's challenge, we want our kids to overcome their preconceived notions, their preconceived assumptions about how the elderly are, who they are, what is important to them, and what they want out of the world. Our kids, we want them to really understand and have an opinion and move forward like this. In terms of the students' process and the design thinking toolkit, it's a very popular toolkit used around the world, and we have adapted the toolkit for our kids from grade 4 upwards. The design thinking toolkit that we have used and adapted at Ekya starts with the students really understanding the problem, the challenge, and identifying the context and possible areas that they want to focus on. Through deep conversations, through interviews, observations, our students reached out to the users, they did research, they analyzed the data that they collected over the couple of weeks that they were immersed in it, and they battled assumptions, they came back, checked with their peers, they learned from each other. They had to make sense of all this data they collected. Nobody could tell them this is right and this is wrong, this is the right way to look at it and this is the wrong way to look at it. Students had to analyze it, and there are different contexts that they had to look at, and they really had to expand their horizons to look at the different ways data can present itself and what opinions were. And through the process of divergent thinking, they thought of multiple ideas. How may they address this particular problem that they identified? And through a concept of iteration and prototyping and really brainstorming what is the best way to solve this problem that they have identified through their research, the students were able to put their findings together. And the process of prototyping really engages all senses, and they had to think of what they're doing and why they're doing it, they had to put it together, see if it worked, get user feedback, and to give feedback in a safe, in a manner that is sensitive to their peers. And finally, throughout the session, they've learned to synthesize all their learnings and be able to talk about and present it to a variety of audiences. And our Design Thinking Showcase is going to be one such avenue for our students to present their thoughts, their passions about this area that they've researched and delved so deeply into. Through the process of design thinking, we really believe that our students leave with ability of problem solving, thinking creatively, thinking out of the box, thinking in a cross-disciplinary manner, interdisciplinary manner. They are exposed to thinking divergently. We believe they learn how to apply concepts, to question what already exists, to question their notions, their preconceived notions. We want them to be lifelong learners. We want them to be visual learners, and design thinking allows them the space to be all of that. They get to experiment, they get to prototype, they get to engage with their peers, they get to engage with users that they might not have had a conversation with before. they have ownership, they have passion, and they have pride for what they put up. And there is learning between peers. There's learning, teachers are learning, they're learning through what other classes are doing, they're learning between themselves. We believe it gives everybody creative confidence and the curiosity to try and solve problems that are beyond their scope. There might be big complex problems, we want to give them the tools to be able to solve those big problems with simple toolkits and empower them to think that they can come up with solutions and they can understand something that might not seem easy enough to understand.